With the basic features of the house completed, we'll look to add some custom features to the exterior of the house. We have to make sure that we have our layers window open so that we could see which indeed layers we are drawing on, as the new features must be drawn on the proper layer. With my layers window open, I'll make sure layer 0 is active, and I'll just do a quick run through to make sure each of the components are in my house are on the proper layer. They are, so the first thing I'll do is I'll add a simple walkway to the outside. Now I'm going to move this to the lawn layer. As you can see, it's already on the lawn layer, and make sure that anything additional things you draw on the lawn are active with the lawn layer. Now you notice that there are a series of bricks that are the same all the way across. These bricks are components, as when one changes, all of them will change. Now to get the bricks to fit into position, I didn't just simply keep copying them one by one by one. Instead, I used a feature with the move tool that we have not gone over yet. What I'll do is I'll ungroup this for now, and I'll just go through and I'll delete each of the bricks with the exception of one at the end. Now, in order to use this brick multiple times, we can copy it with the move tool, pressing Control, click and move into position, and as soon as it's in position and snap to the brick next to it, I'm going to drop it in place by clicking once, and immediately, without touching any other buttons, I'm going to press X or times 20. When I press times 20, you'll notice the block is now copied another 20 times. Not quite far enough to go all the way down, so if I still don't touch any buttons, I can hit X 30 and see that I just make it to the end of the lawn. Now, if this brick did not meet the end of the lawn, you have two options which you can do. One is you can delete the block and change this block if necessary. And because it's a component, if you changed one block, they all get smaller. So if we needed to just make this block a little smaller or a little bit larger, I can right click on it and make it unique. When it's a unique, it's still a component, but it no longer acts like the other components you see here. If you copy this component, then it will indeed act just like the new component that you created. The other thing you can do here is if it wasn't lined up perfectly, you could always go through and you could just stretch the lawn out just a little bit to meet the edge of the brick. In this case, we'll leave it as it is, delete the extra brick, and you can see our walkway is just about complete. We want to go back and group the walkway together. And make sure that it's on the lawn layer. Save your work at this point, and remember that this sidewalk doesn't have to look like the one you created. Yours is going to be custom. The next feature we will add will be a picket fence that wraps around the length of the property. Now, the picket fence can be built very easily when using components properly, as well as the new copy move tool. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a post to our fence over here in the corner. I already have one created, so I'll paste it right in place. Remember, you can change the designs of these as you want, or use one from another file if you have it. In this case, I used a simple push-pull, follow me tool on the top, and then I went ahead and used a circle or a sphere I should say, for the top ball. Let's go through and delete some of the extra lines I didn't need. You want to make sure that the post is in fact a component, as you're going to be using it multiple times. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to take it and we're going to copy it over right next to our sidewalk, our stones for our sidewalk. Now when I drop it in place, before I press anything else, I'm going to use another feature of the copy move tool, and instead of pressing times and a number, I'm going to press backslash and the number 3. And what that will do is that will set me 3 total posts going across the front of the house, spaced equally apart. If I don't like the way that looks, I'll backslash again and try 2. That probably looks a little bit too large, so I'll stay with 3. And I have my 3 posts for the fence on the left-hand side. With the posts evenly spaced out, we'll take a look in between them and check the measurement just to make sure we know the approximate distance between the two. In this case, it's 6 foot 2 inches, so we're out 6. From here, you can create a simple design. We'll make this 1.5 by 4, and we'll drag this over here, and I'll make it a component and drag it down to the bottom as well. I'll just move it to the bottom. From here, using the techniques you just learned, you can make a simple fence post to make it look like a white picket fence. You should make sure you're measuring out all these distances. I'm doing it very quickly just to get through it, but you should be measuring out all these distances so that it looks proportionally to the side. Once you're done, you can add some type of simple design to it. And try to come up with something creative here. Now, when you're done with this, what you'll want to do is you'll want to make this a component as well. And now you will use this component to slide over to your other edge here and use your backslash command to get an appropriate number of fences depending on how many pickets you want. Now this one fence section is done, I want to take this entire section and make this a group. So I'm going to get my select tool, or if I drag from right to left, every object that the select tool highlights will actually select. So I want to make sure I get all the pieces of one fence post, not the other post. We'll make this a component, and now we can use this component in the rest of this sequence. With my spacing made, I can actually delete these 2 fence posts here and grab the back side of my fence here, and I may even put a dimension line in here to guide me. Make sure you're pressing Control and lining it up with the next post. I'm then going to hit ×2, and that will give me my first post. Let's see if you can do the exact same thing on this side. Only difference being, we're going to copy one of these posts, or even this entire component, and drop it down into position here. Let's see if you can copy it down to the edge of the lawn, making sure it's lined up neatly, whether you have to move the grass in or add a smaller piece of fence. With the finished fence done, now's a good time to add the mailbox you created earlier. You can open up a separate SketchUp file with your mailbox, select it, and then copy-paste it into your file. You may have to rescale it as it doesn't necessarily fit where you want it to go. In this case, I'm going to put mine right up to the left-hand side of my fence, orbiting the ground so I get it exactly where I want it. And now, since it's just a little bit smaller, I'm actually going to scale it up so it fits in with my fence. And now you have your mailbox, your fence, and your sidewall completed. Now with the mailbox completed, we're going to add a window to the side of the house where we have the opening. But not just any window, we're going to add a bay window. If you're not sure what a bay window is, I'll do a quick Google of it. And a bay window is simply a window that juts out away from the house, as you can see here from the interior view and the exterior view. A lot of times you have a window seat on the inside, 3 or 4 windows on the outside. Our bay window will be custom made, but it may look something like this. When it is finished, it will be a component as you see here, and you may use the pictures inserted in the rest of the video as a general guide of how to build your particular window. That does not have to be the same dimensions or size. You just want to keep the general look and feel of this type of window. Feeling free to Google the various types of bay windows that are out there.